Hello Divination and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create flip cards with any module in Divi without a plugin. This is the final result we're aiming to achieve. So without wasting a lot of time, let's get started.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is to create a brand new page. So I'm going to come over here, click on Add New, and we're going to give a page a title. So we're going to call this How to Create Flip Cards. Next, we're going to click on Use Divi Builder, and then we're going to choose a pre-made layout. So the layout we're going to go with is the app developer landing page. So I'm just going to search for it, and here we are. I'm going to click on it and then click on Use this layout. So the next thing we need to do is to create a new section just below this main hero area here. So I'm going to scroll down here, and this is where it ends. So I'm going to click this plus button, click on regular, and we're going to need a single column. But for now, we're not going to add any modules. So I'm going to click here to close. And then the next thing I want to do is to duplicate this 4 times. Okay, so now we have 4 of these. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is to make these rows appear like columns. So what I mean by that is we want to have these side by side, but right now they're one below each other. We want them next to each other. In fact, you know what? Once I add the CSS code, it'll all make sense. So what we need to do now is to go into our section settings, click on Advanced, Custom CSS, and then here on the main elements, we're going to paste this CSS code. So now we see, in fact, let me save this so you can see it. So now we can see that all our rows are next to each other just by pasting this CSS code. All right, so now that we have that in place, the next stage now is to copy these modules here and add them onto these columns. So I'm going to start off with the first one here. Now, the quickest way to do this is to use a keyboard shortcut. I use Command C because I'm on a Mac to copy, and then Command V to paste. If you're on a PC, it's Control C and then Control V to paste. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to paste my first one here, go to the next one, and paste it here. Great. So now that I have all these in place, that's looking great. The next stage now is to duplicate these on each column like that. So what we need to do next now is to multi-select all these modules here on the bottom and make some changes to them. So we need to change and add a background color here and also a bit of text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down my Command key and then click. So this allows us to use multi-select. So I'm going to go on to the next item. So as you can see, as I'm clicking here, all my 4 modules has been selected. Next, I'm going to click here on this gear icon. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a background color. So I'm going to come over here to background and then click here and paste my color. Now, if you want to use the exact same colors or any of the CSS code that I'm using throughout this tutorial, I will leave a link to the post in the show notes below. All right, so that's my color. So as you can see, now it's been applied to all my modules because I'm using multi-select. So while this is also selected, the next thing to do here is to go to the text, and we want to make sure our text is set to light. So I'm going to come over here to Design, Text, and change this from dark to light. Okay, so now it's easier to read on this blue background. All right, so now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead now and save. Next, we're going to add a bit of text over here just below where it says mobile apps. We're here on the title. So we're just going to add something basic, which is going to be applied to all of them. But in your case, you want to come in here and add the description that goes with that icon. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and save. The next stage now is to add our CSS code to our page. So this CSS code can be found on the post, which I'll link to in the show notes below. So to add our CSS code to the page, I'm going to come over here to my page settings, click on Advanced, Custom CSS, and then I'm going to paste my CSS code in here, just like that. And then I'm going to save. So the next stage is to add a CSS code or CSS class to these top modules. So again, I'm going to use multi-select. So I'm holding down my Command key as I'm clicking. If you're on a PC, it's Control. And then once you've selected all of them, just click on any of these to go into the module settings. I'll come over here to Advanced, And then I'm going to add a CSS class. So I'm going to come over here to CSS ID and classes and add my class and then save. Next, I'm going to come and do the same over here to the bottom. So I'm going to hold down my command key, do the multi-select one more time. I'm going to click here on this gear icon, click on advanced, CSS ID and classes, and then I'm going to add my CSS class here and then save. Okay, so finally, the next step is to go into our rows and add some CSS classes. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon, click on advanced, CSS ID and classes, and then over here on the class, I'm going to add my CSS class, and then next I'm going to add my column CSS classes as well. So I'm going to paste it here. So for now, I'm going to save, and then we're going to do a quick preview and see if that one has worked. So I'm going to click here on publish, and then I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. So let's see if that one works now. So as you can see, this one here is working fine. So the next thing you need to do now is to go back in and add your CSS classes to the rows. Okay, so now I've added my CSS classes and my column CSS class as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And now if we save the page and exit the Visual Builder, we should have that effect working fine now. So I'm going to click here on Exit Visual Builder, scroll down to the section, and now you can see that it is working okay. So let's say you want to design a specific view for mobile devices and tablets. So what you can do here is, in fact, let me just go back and enable the Visual Builder. So what you could do is we're going to duplicate this and disable it on desktop. So I'm going to come over here and then just duplicate that. Right. So what I'm going to do now is in fact, to make things easier for me, I need to switch over into our wireframe mode. So I'm going to click here, click on wireframe. Right. So this is where we are. So this is the second one, the second section. Okay. So I might as well just rename this, just call this mobile, so I can see where I am. Okay, great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use multi-select to select all the blurbs that we don't want to show on the desktop. So I'm going to come over here and hold down my command key. So I'm going to go with the top one. So I'm going to click one, click the next one like that. And then I'm going to click the final one just like that. Right. So now that I have them all selected, we want to click here on the gear icon, click advanced, visibility, and then we want to make sure that this is disabled on phone and tablet. We're going to save this for now. And then next, we're going to come over here to our section settings. Click on advanced, custom CSS, and then I'm going to paste my CSS code in here. Now, as I mentioned before, if you want to use the exact same CSS code as I'm using throughout this tutorial, I will leave a link to the post in the show notes below. So this code here will make sure that the rows will stack on mobile, and this is exactly what we need, because the other view does not look really nice because everything will be all in one row. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. So I'm going to go ahead now and save this. Save the page. So if I scroll down here, you can see now this is the mobile version and they're now stacked. So now if we view this on a mobile device, they will be stacked one on top of the other.
So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and do follow us on our social media platforms. By doing so, you'll be notified every time we release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.